We all have a story, but not all of us tell it. Those who train and fight are unique, as they fight a battle you sometimes cannot see. It's time to tell our stories. Mental, physical, emotional, environmental battles. We overcome them. And against all odds, a fighter will persevere. In this series, we look at people from all over Britain who have had challenges in their life but overcame them to become who they are today. In this episode, we look at the journey, barriers, highs and lows of tough, unique Irishman Derek Roche, who against all odds became a real-life champion.
Some people either have it or they don't, and he's definitely got it, you know what I mean, in abundance.
And I'm saying to the referees, it's fucking biting me. And the referees, box.
That's Seamus, everybody. Best dog in the world. And anybody who knows Derek knows that he's such a humble guy. Been inducted into the British Boxing Hall of Fame last year.
If you've watched any of Derek's fights, you'll know that man, you've got to nail him to the floor to finish him. He just keeps getting up like a robot.
But he's a tough man. You know he's a tough man, but he's a friend.
Giving them both a few whacks on the way, but they ran off, jumped in the van and pissed off. I just so good. When I first turned professional, my first professional trained there. Proper old gym, this and that. My guns put me in there, guns pulled out on me. I've had guys trying to chop the door down with machetes somewhere.
So we're here outside the house of Derek Roche,
My good boy.
British welterweight champion, legend to me, being a former boxer. Just can't wait to meet him. You know what? Let's go.
Alright, cheers. It's alright.
Big Dick!
See, come in, Paul, come in. Forgive Seamus, how are you? It's great to see him.
Yeah.
Derek Roche gave up all he knew to start a new life in England. All he had was nothing but a dream. But before becoming a fighting icon, we are going to hear from his very own lips his trials, tribulations, and some of the obstacles that stood firmly in his way, with at one point having nothing but the clothes he had on his back and his head in his hands crying.
I left Ireland when I was 18. Left school just before my 18th birthday, which you do in Ireland. You stay on, you do your intermediate and your leaving certificate, which is like the equivalent of your O-levels and A-levels. So I did them, did very well, passed everything, got good results and everything, but there was nothing there for me work-wise, so it was just a matter of time. I had to leave, and I knew I had to leave, so I just got on a boat, travelled to Roche, which is in Wexford. Dad dropped me off, got on the boat, got off at Fishguard Harbour in Wales, got a train to London. I walked up Kilburn High Road with a bag that big on my back. Everything I wanted, photographs, pictures, records, tapes at the time, my clothes, and that was it. And that was 33 years ago this month, I think. I kind of had the idea that, I'd go over for 6-12 months till things picked up in Ireland, but that's just life. You just don't know where you're going to end up, and that was it. I ended up in London. I didn't stay there. I had nowhere to stay. I didn't go to anybody. I just went, and that's just how it was. I walked into an Irish bar, which is what you do. You go to what you know. You go to a boxing club, go to something Irish. Two lads said I could sleep in their place. It was on the floor. Slept there for a few weeks. I ended up moving to Bournemouth because my brother lived there. He actually lived in Poole, and he was moving out of that house. I'm moving in with his girlfriend. So there was a space there, and I could move in there with his friends. There was 3 or 4 of us sharing a house, but there wasn't enough bedrooms, so I slept on the floor again there for a while. I was in contact with a friend of mine who married a Leeds girl, and I was looking. I'd boxed amateur in Poole. I joined Trinidad Boys Club, which was only open 2 days a week for an hour, and within that hour we had to put the ring up. and take it down and be out there. So I had 9 fights in my first season with them, and I won 8. And a guy called Glenn Catley beat me, who went on to become. And then the year he beat me, Calzaghe beat him in the final. So they all went pro. So I thought, you know, he beat me on majority, so I'm good enough as well. There was no pro gyms around Poole and Bournemouth at the time, so the guy I knew from Leeds said, come up here, you can stay with me for a couple of weeks till you get on your feet. And that was it. So I moved to Leeds. Arrived in Leeds at Leeds bus station, and that friend of mine at the time picked me up to the bus station with my little bag, brought me to his house, which I'll show you soon. Went into his house and he said, come on, go out and have a drink. So he brought me out for a drink. I didn't have a penny, I had nothing. Didn't even have money for a bottle of water. So he brought me out for a drink. We went to Delaney's bar, who ended up sponsoring me later on. We went to the 4 Green pub, rough pubs. Came home, his house was burgled and my bag was gone. And that was everything I owned. The clothes I was standing in was what I was left with. I was a grown man, 20 years old, I think at the time, in tears on the bed, sat on the bed, my head in my hands, with nothing. So that was difficult. Joined Bournemouth Boxing Club. Walked down a mile and a half, walked to the gym, introduced me to all the boys, good lads, Gary Rose, Phil Sellers, Sean Henry, great people. They said, come down tomorrow, we'll sign you properly. Came down, they handed me a bin bag full of second-hand clothes. And I had tears in my eyes again, and that was my start in Leeds, second-hand clothes. But that's life, innit? But it makes you the man you are.
Spending the day with Derek, just being with him and hearing the stories was somewhat entertaining. Here, Derek takes the time to stop off at the local gym to see the locals training.
Proper old gym, this is not. Used to train when I retired. Hammy Patrick Joyce there, about 6 times national champion. Paul O'Rourke is there, former ex-pro. Okay. He's running the class today for Danny, I'm assuming. Hi Paul. Hammy.
Hi lads.
This man's doing a podcast. Get in that film there. How many times national champion you? 3 times. 20 days, how many times have you got?
Yorkshire, three Yorkshire.
3 Yorkshire times.
Yorkshire champion, 3 champions.
Remember the name. Hammy Patrick Joyce, future world champion. Billy Bay, future world champion. This is Paul O'Rourke, former pro. Enjoying it. Proper old school gym, that's how it should be. Danny's been here a long time now. Must be here more than 10 years, I think. Great gym. Me and Johnny started off here. We helped get it set up. The first time we came in, there was all dressing rooms there. Danny said, we'll take them down there if we'll make the gym a bit bigger. So I said, okay. I took my screwdriver out, ready to take it. Danny came in with a sledgehammer and smashed it all down in 5 minutes. So, man is nuts. There you go. Tyson Fury's next challenger, 6'7". Kevin O'Brien, he's called a great kid.
Yeah, quality. Great influence for us all at the gym here. You know, great British champion, and he comes down to the gym, shows us, you know, what it takes to be a champion. It really inspires us. So yeah, really appreciate his time coming down.
Is that what you want to follow in his footsteps?
That's the goal, yeah, obviously. So you know, it means a lot for Derek coming down, and really appreciate his time.
Derek Roche, the legend that is Derek Roche. We've spent many time. When I was pro, I spent plenty of time in the gym with Derek and all the other Leeds boys. Yeah. Of course, Derek's been in a few times with the belt, shown the belt round. All the kids look up to him. All the kids know him, so he's a regular in the gym. He brings lads down sparring.
All great kids.
So we've got a good little system where we've got kids coming through from like 5 years of age now. The next class is 5-year-old. So if you've watched any of Derek's fights, you'll know that man, you've got to nail him to the floor to finish him. He just keeps getting up like a robot. Absolute credit to the fitness of the man. Do you know what I mean? When you see some of the wars he's been in, and he's still giving advice to this day, all the time, it's brilliant. It's good to be a part of it, you know, good to know him.
Local friend and ex-professional Danny Thornton has a boxing show on at Leeds United Ellen Road Marquee, and it's a perfect time for us to speak to the promoters and trainers about Derek.
Where are we?
Leeds United, guys, Ellen Road, Leeds United. Not my hometown as such, but it's my city now, and that's it. And these people looked after me, took me under the wing, made me one of their own. I love Leeds, beautiful city, best football team in the world.
Boy's a legend, top man, top boxing man, but even better man. I met him in '95 when we boxed each other in Leeds at Rothwell. He was the first person to put me on my backside. He put me down hard. I think I've lost about a day's memory of after boxing Derek, but yeah, Derek was one of them kids. When you fought him, he was snarling, he was tough. You could just tell he just wanted it more than most. I mean, if you look at his career, you'll see that when he's been in bother, he just digs it out the bag, bang, and he wins because he wants it. But out the ring, such a lovely guy though, different altogether. Oh, the inspiration is like he always makes himself available. You know, he comes to our gym, he brings his Lonsdale belt, and the kids just look at it in awe, and so they should. Because every time I see Derek's Lonsdale belt, I look in awe of it as well. So, and I think that's what they do. If you can inspire, just bringing that belt down once to show the young kids, if you can inspire one kid, you know, to go on and do something better, not just in boxing, just in life. If that inspires him to do something in life, then it's been a good thing.
Oh, great kid. I've known him since I was 22, 23. He's about 8 years younger than me. I used to support him all the time. He's been in some cracking fights. Like I say, anyone that can win the Lonsdale belt outright, you've got to respect him. But you know, I like everything about Derek. He's a great kid and he's done a lot for Leeds. You know what? He's one of the best lads to win a British title, not just in Leeds, in England. You know what I mean? He's a good kid.
Thank you.
Flying he was. I mean, I was his main sparring partner, to be fair, throughout his career. I sparred him, you know, every week. I bet we've done hundreds of rounds together. And the man could punch, please believe me. He could really punch. And we had some wars. Cause I used to go forward and have a ding dong, you know what I mean? But he could punch, please believe me. He balls of steel, fight anybody. And the man could punch, you know what I mean? But I think you've got it within you. And he had it within him. I think he had quite a tough upbringing in Ireland. Some people either have it or they don't, and he's definitely got it, you know what I mean, in abundance.
The previous evening, Derek promoted a successful tribute event. Amongst the attendees were many boxing legends in abundance, actors, singers, and they all paid great tribute to Derek.
Derek is absolute legend, tough man. He's just like everything that he wanted to be in boxing. You know, good art, like having the courage to put it on the line. It's alright saying I'll do this and I'll do that. Derek did it.
I remember Derek Roche fighting from my amateur days because we're the same age. We always fought in the All-Irelands every year. He was always a little bit lighter than me, so we never actually fought. Then I watched his professional career. I was always very interested in his fights. He had some great fights, fought some very good fighters, and really done a very good job.
So when I got the opportunity to spar with him, we had a good spar. He caught me some good shots. I caught Derek with some good shots. It was a decent spar, but obviously he was a consummate professional. And to me, I've never had bad word for Derek. He was the man. He was the man.
Fantastic night. Top night. Derek's do.
Derek's done everything here. It's absolutely amazing. Top of the notch. Boxing is absolutely the pinnacle of the conversation. Done. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely fantastic.
We've got Paige here as well. We've got all our family. We love it. The boxing times, we're doing everything up in this place. Big time. Let's keep going. Boom.
So I'm Denzel Brown, former British Commonwealth title challenger, double Central Area champion. I've known Derek for years, donkeys. Let's have a look, 30 odd year. Derek was at one stage my sparring partner, even though I'm 6'3" and he's 5 foot something. He was my sparring partner when I was getting ready for Dennis Andrews for the British title, cruiserweight. Good friend of mine. We also had a pub together, or we took over a pub together, should I say. Good guy, and that's why I'm here.
I've known Derek since I started boxing. Came over from Ireland, boxed at Birmingham, and that's how I know Derek. He's a good guy.
Well, I met Derek Roche at one of these boxing events with my good friend Joe Egan, and what was really prominent from the start was how humble he was, how much humility he had in him, and I was actually really moved by his story. And I'd always say, you know, I'm really moved by what you've done, Derek, and the things you've been through in your life, and you're a champion. And I think this next statement that came out of Derek's mouth is basically indicative and the epitome of who he is. I said, you're a champion, Derek. He went, I'm just an average man, mate. And I said to him, I said, look, there's nothing average about you. And straight after that, he said, my belt is hanging on my wall in my house worth a lot of money. He said, do you know what? If my wife or my kids or any of my family needed it, it would be gone tomorrow in a heartbeat. I wouldn't think twice, he said, because no one can take my name out of that book. I'm proud he's my friend. He's such a genuine, sincere and humble guy, and I love him dearly, and I'm proud to call him my friend.
Okay, my name's Dean. I've come with Kevin Bennett tonight, ex-former Commonwealth champ. He rung me up to come and see Derek, and I've come over tonight. £75 a ticket. I never pay £75 a ticket. But when I look at stuff like this here, I run a boxing club in Bradford. Okay. And I asked him to come through. That's Derek there, yeah? You want to just let me see if I can get them all. See right there? They're all there. Look at that. He brought the Lonsdale belt.
Derek Roche is one of the finest men that I've met in boxing. He's one of the finest Irish men in the UK, because he does so much for the Irish around the UK. The man fought for the world title on a few occasions. He was in the fight of the year against Scott Dixon in 1999 for the British title, one of the most incredible fights that I've ever seen. The man has the heart of a lion as a fighter, and he has the heart of a good man, as a decent man, as a kind man, and as a great friend. I love Derek Roche dearly. Derek the Rebel Roche.
Yeah, the back streets of Leeds. Yeah, these are some of the nicer back streets. I can show you some of the rougher areas. Not rougher, the people are lovely. I love Leeds people, some of the best people in the world. That's why I've settled here. They made me feel welcome, made me feel home. When I was training, I used to go down Hare Hills Lane, which is quite a rough area, and the butchers there, Stevenson's, I used to go in and get a chicken. They knew I was a fighter then. I used to speak to them every morning. I'd go out and do my run, come back, buy a cooked chicken. They always put an extra couple of legs in and a bit of fruit for me. Little things like that, you know what I mean, that you really appreciate and you don't forget. That's why I love Leeds and love Leeds people. I actually started not in this particular gym, but this club is where I started in Leeds, and they helped me out, looked after me, give me second-hand gear to train in when I had nothing, so good people. My mother and father are from the same town in Ireland, but didn't really know each other growing up. They met each other in London in the nightclub, both overworking, looking for work. Met in a nightclub, ended up getting married. My brother was born, he's 3 years older than me. I was born a month or 5 weeks after I was born, and moved back to Ireland, brought me up in Ireland. So I could speak Gaelic and went to school in Ireland, Christian Brothers, and did what I did. With Tommy Gilmore then, who was my manager, at the time promoted by Barry Hearn, Eddie's dad, who was the main man, Barry. He rang me up one day and he said, Derek, Irish, I can't figure out what's going on here. He said, you're an Irishman, but how am I going to get you to fight? So I was born in England. So he says, oh, okay, so you are eligible. I said, yeah. He said, so which one do you want to fight for? I said, well, how much am I getting? He said, for the Irish title you get about $2.5 grand. I said, how much am I getting for the British? He said, 20 something. So,
I'm an Englishman.
do I need to answer that? And he went, no. So you're fighting for the British title? I said, yeah, get me in for that. And that was it.
Conveniently stopping to see friends at Leeds Irish Centre, this was a perfect place to speak to Derek about his truly overwhelming career. Sit back and enjoy as we hear all about it from Derek himself.
It's an honour to be with you today, thank you, mate.
Thank you, Pete, thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
So you were set, your debut was in Bradford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it against Michael
Alexander, A-star referee now.
Pro journeyman, yeah.
And the dirtiest fight I've ever had. Hit me low, hit me on the break, elbowed me, did everything. Taught me some valuable lessons.
That was your first victory?
It was my first fight, first win as a pro.
So your area title was, who did you fight for your area central fight?
Trevor Meikle.
Okay.
Boxed Trevor Meikle for that, and I defended against a guy called Chris Saunders, who was the former British champion.
Yeah.
He beat Kevin Lushing and then lost to Kevin Lushing, but I was very nervous. Most nervous I was going into a fight because he was quite famous and I knew him and I'd seen him on TV, and Brendan Ingle was in his corner. I was a bit gobsmacked and thinking, wow, I'm up again here, but I bashed him up in 4 rounds.
Right. Then you moved on to, obviously everyone's dream, the British Lonsdale belt.
Yeah.
And that was against
Charlie Kane.
So what did you know about Charlie Kane?
I knew he was a southpaw. Tall southpaw, rangy, very good boxer, technically very good.
Quickly, Derek, for people who don't know what a southpaw is.
Okay, a left-handed boxer who leads with his right.
And he's 1 in 10. Yeah, they're all good on. So you just stopped Charlie Kane, you awarded the Lonsdale belt. What was the feeling like?
Well, to be honest with you, I was happy, but my head was pounding. Because to be fair, he'd won the first 6 rounds just about. And he pounded me. The shots were just rattling off my head. I thought, what? He was so rapid, quick, accurate. And I thought, wow, this is hard. Even though people say, oh, it wasn't your hardest fight, but it was hard, man. He banged, my head was pounding for 2 days. I defended against Georgie Smith. Please don't.
One of the best amateurs we've produced.
Brilliant fighter. Well, I fought Scott Dixon, which was a battle and a half. And
we've got the footage of that, obviously. So it's just that was something else. That's a fight that, you know, my dad really appreciated hard men, and he just sort of clapped. I think everybody, you know, we still watch it today. It's just wonderful.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Scott wasn't a big hitter, but Scott Dixon.
He was so tough.
Oh, he was resilient. Never stopped.
Tough. Yeah, I hit him with everything, and he went down at that. He doesn't show it on the television, but I'm like that in the corner, like that. Yeah, I won. I see him getting up, and my hands are coming slowly down. I'm going, what? He's getting back up again. Scott Dixon was another defence against Harry Dami.
Yeah, very tall.
Very young. Nothing to do with that.
I watched him beat Spencer McCracken comfortably.
I didn't train for it.
So why didn't you train for it?
Because I might upset a few people when I say this, but I never trained between fights in my life ever. Even as British champion, I never trained between. So if I fought in April, I wouldn't go in the gym again till June till somebody tell me how to fight.
So then you got the call, didn't you, to...
No, my next defence was Harry Dami.
That's right, and you lost on points to Harry.
Harry Dammy broke my nose in the 3rd or 4th round. I got a blood clot, some kind of blood clot, which is called a hematoma.
Right.
I fought for the last 9 rounds. I couldn't breathe through my nose, and I had double vision, and I still went to 12 rounds. But I fought 9 rounds, and all I could see was a blur, and I could not breathe through my nose.
So after Darmy, what was next?
After Darmy, I think I had a couple of 6-rounders then.
Yeah, and then the next one.
I boxed in Holland, and I boxed in Italy. I boxed a guy in Italy called Silvio Rojas, who was an Argentinian. He bit me there, I had blood coming out of me. And I'm saying to the referees, he's fucking biting me. And the referee said, box, it's fucking biting me. So then there was a fucking few headbutts went in and got a bit out of hand. Like,
whose headbutt was it?
I was accidentally headbutting, but he was biting me. Jan Bergman, for the WBU.
The Mecca of British boxing.
Yeah. Beautiful place to box. When you come out and you look at it on TV, it's amazing, but it's a bit of a dump.
It's a
showers don't work.
Yeah.
The one that does dribble is cold.
Yeah.
Tiles are broken. You cut your feet walking into them. It's not clean.
Everyone says the same.
But it's the Mecca of boxing, they reckon, but I don't think it is. Taps don't work. It's not clean.
Everyone says the same.
But it's the Mecca of boxing, they reckon, but I don't think it is.
So the Young Bergman fight, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
You lost on points.
Yeah.
And you got dropped 6 times.
Yeah.
That's some spirit, that is.
Never hurt me once. Never hurt me. I think I'd come to the stage in my career where my punch resistance left me. I was getting hit and I was sat on my arse and I was thinking, what? Didn't even hurt me. Didn't even feel it. But so that had my punch resistance had obviously gone. I'm not stupid. I'm a clever man. He never hurt me, but I gave him too much respect. Way too much respect. But again, it was the same thing. I hadn't trained properly for it. Adrian Stone.
Yeah, was it Belfast?
Yeah.
And he's, would you say, one of the best you've fought?
Oh, yeah. He hit me. I don't know where it came
this
from.
Was for the world title?
Some other kind of thing. Yeah, I didn't train. In the gym, nobody trained harder than me, and nobody could keep up with me on anything. But that fitness one there, because I didn't do it all the time. Yep, Neil Sinclair. Probably one of the hardest single punchers probably in Britain and Ireland. Again, I hadn't trained properly for it. Mick Tramler will tell you that. I was in my corner on the night. The referee came to me before the fight, and the referee actually said to me, "Are you sure you want to fight?" That's how sick I looked.
Just bang on.
And I said, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with me." I knew it. I felt like shit. I was like death. And he said to me, "You sure you're going to fight?" The referee said this to me, and I said, "Yeah, I feel great," and I didn't. Could barely stand, could barely walk.
That's taken everything.
No, I'm just making the weight. Killed myself. Killed myself.
Never been whacked in the
Call me a body shot. If I'd have warmed into the fight and it was round 6, I would have got over it. If I'd have cut me a headshot, I might have got down and got up, would have been alright. But can't make excuses. He caught me the shot and that's it. But later on then, he was beaten by a guy who I used to have as a sparring partner. Francis Jones. I used to have a lovely kid, Francis. But Francis, no disrespect to him, I didn't think he was in my league. And I had him as a sparring partner and that. But Francis beat him then. But he's a great lad and I love Francis.
As well as driving around so many memorable places, Derek finds the time to enjoy a pint of Guinness with some of the locals.
I just drove through. Did you have a word with Mick?
Yeah. Oh no, he's got some.
Candy's here. He used to be the manager at the
Okay.
First, well, I remember him coming when it, and he must have been told about an Irish pub, Delaney's, when he first come over. So, and I think he asked for Joe at the time, and just to get work, and I think presume work. He come over with I forget the lad's name now. We were good mates, and I've known him ever since. So that's over 35 years, probably something like that.
He's a friendly man. You're saying he's a tough man. He's a tough man. You know he's a tough man, but he's a friend. You'll never see him be a bully. He's a lad that'll talk to you, have a laugh and a joke. He's got a heart of gold, and he's a lovely lad. I only know him through going into the pub. Right, gone. I met him, he would bounce on the door, and he used to go in there and he'd come over and talk to you, and I got to know him, and what a great lad. Him and his mate called, I don't know if he knows him now, Velcro. They were good pals, and they were two nice lads. People called, because they were bouncers, people thought they were bullies, but they weren't bullies, they were fair. I'll tell you what, how respectful we were. We went out one night in town, we went to a few pubs, right? And every nightclub we went to 4 or 5 different nightclubs, every bouncer respected him on the door. Wow. Straight to the front, straight in. And I done that because I was with him. Yeah.
Obviously on the door, like, he wanted, you know, I don't know if you know Delaney's, but it was a...
We've heard all about it.
But you know, it was always, like Mickey says, he was always fair, and you know, but he knew most of them, so which it helped as well. So people respected him for that.
If he want a bullet, like I say, people can't see that he want a bullet. What he want, he knew he could handle himself. He'd try to talk you down. If he couldn't talk you down, he'd pull you out. And that's the way he want. He's a good guy.
Whilst Derek boxed professionally, he still worked at an Irish bar, Delaney's. Hearing the stories of this bar and club was like something out of a film.
This used to be the Delaney's bar. You go upstairs there. On the first floor there was the nightclub. Obviously you're in a back alley here. It's pitch black at night. There was more trouble there. And anything... if you haven't seen it in there, it's not worth seeing. And I've seen everything. People come in with guns, machine guns. They've come in with samurai swords, machetes. They've chopped down the door to kill us. A couple of canisters of CS gas saved our lives a couple of times. But you do what you have to do. I've seen people lying on bodies lying in that alleyway that many times.
This one here?
This alleyway here. Those gates weren't there. They put the gates up now to stop that happening. But yeah, it's cars behind me. So. Heron Foods there used to be the ex-professional boxers club, and all the ex-pros used to be there. Mickey Van, everybody used to just meet in there first Sunday in every month. If you could, literally around the corner here, 100 metres this next left, was Bermontoft's Boxing Club, the original Bermontoft's Boxing Club, where I first came when I first came up here as an amateur. It's been knocked down here. That was a great club. Great gym. When I first turned professional, my first pro fight I trained there with a man called Ricky Manners, who's Nick's brother. Everybody knows Nick from being in the corner with Josh Warrington, but Rick trained me there for my first pro fight. And he had a gym down here. I'll show you where I used to do sprints up here.
Derek is a father and a husband, and retired from boxing. However, he has had many mental fights, not to mention physical fights, outside of the ring, as we hear now.
There's good and bad technology, phones. A guy cut me up in the car and I flashed at him. I didn't make a big deal. I flashed at him, so he jammed on the brakes. It's near my own house. He jumped out of the car. He must have been 20 stone, so it makes no difference to me. I got out anyway. I got stuck into him. Had to go, had him down, given him a few whacks. His mate jumped out the other side, stamped on my head, left a nice footprint on my head. Ended up giving them both a few whacks anyway, but they ran off, jumped in the van and pissed off. But when I got home an hour later, my daughter said, "Come here, Dad, look at this." She had it on her phone. A young girl, a 15-year-old girl, had filmed it and sent it to her. So phones are great, but they're also bad.
Quick twats. He got round quick,
so,
yeah.
You know. Yeah, so living in Hare Hills, which is not the nicest area at the moment. My son was born there. I think he was only a baby. I came out to go for a run. It was nice and steady. 7 o'clock in the morning, set off running across the road. Old lady walking towards me on the opposite side. Some guy grabbed her bag, started pulling her, dragged her around, dragged her on the floor, but she wouldn't let go of the bag. I dropped my dog, across the road diagonally, bang, rugby tackling him in over the wall into the garden, give him a few whacks, held him in a headlock. He started screaming, "You choke, can't breathe." So I eased up, he tried to bite me, so I fucking strangled him. Passed out, police come. I said, "Thank you, we need to take a statement off you." I said, I haven't got time. I said, "Bring the dog for a walk." So I'll give him my address, they came around later. Later on, they gave me, I think they gave me a cheque for about £200.
Really?
Thank you, yeah.
Police.
So I was
Wow.
sent from the police, yeah. So that was nice, but you know, I'd like to think anybody would do the same, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were queuing up Majestic's nightclub just the next street there. Myself, Danny Thornton, my wife Tracy was still with me now. It was 30 years. It was 1999 because I got arrested. Guy come up, he said, I'm here first, just queuing up for a taxi, minding our own business. He came up with a bottle and he said, I'm fucking first. I said, go first, mate. And I walked 10, 20 metres away. And he came up after me again. He said, I told you I'm first. And I said, yeah. He put the bottle back, bang, clocked him. He went down. A couple of people jumped on me. Police came, they were parked over there. They shot across in the van. Big guy with cauliflower ears, obviously a rugby player or something. He grabbed me, he said, you're going down for this. I said, what? For defending myself? He pulled a bottle on me. Anyway, in the end, got let go with that one. I think that wasn't, there was a different one. I got arrested over there, give a fella a whack. He punched me in the mouth, this kid. He was kicking bottles and he hit me on the foot and I just picked it up and put it on the bar. And he came over, he said, that's my bottle. I said, take it. He punched me straight in the mouth, this kid. So we came out of there, I forget what it was called, it was a nightclub upstairs there, in that green roof building. And the police came in, they grabbed him and they were going to arrest him, they didn't. And they said to me, do you want to press charges? I said, no, I'll sort them myself. And they said to me, you won't sort it yourself, you either press charges or you leave it. I said, no, okay, I'll leave it then. I walked out there, the kid was across the road, carrying on across the road. So I just took a little jog, flipped over the rail on the other side, tapped him on the finger, bang, sparked him as well. So that's it. I got arrested then.
So you've never ever looked for trouble, Derek? You know, you've
didn't look for it, but I wasn't letting it go. Somebody give me a cheap shot like that.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I'm not, this time, the quietest man in the world. I go to my local pub, I sit in the pub, have a couple of pints, sat there last night, a couple of pints with my friends, and that's all I want to do. Yeah, well, my book came out a lot of years ago, and the man that wrote it is a guy called Nigel McDermott. His son was at my show the other night with Steve Collins. He was actually a pro fighter, and he was a class little kid. He only had about 10 amateur fights. I think he won half, lost half, turned pro with me. His first pro fight, he fought Josh Warrington. His next pro fight, he fought another guy who went on to become world champion, and I can't think of his name. He's from up Blackpool way. He was a world lightweight champion. Cannot think of his name. First two fights, two future world champions he fought, gave them both a great fight. But anyway, his dad wrote my book. It's called The Rebel. He used to work for the Yorkshire Evening Post, followed my career, was there at every fight, doing his bit on my fights. And he said, he used to ask me about Ireland and growing up and how I lived my life and moving to England and London and everywhere. And I told him, he said, wow, what a book this would make. And I used to think, yeah, of course, I used to go off, and he said, I want to write your book, I said, no, I used to get a bit embarrassed about things like that, and I did. I said, please. And I said no for ages. In the end, we agreed. So my book, The Rebel, is out there. And
how can we get out of that book?
It's a fantastic read. I believe Amazon now is the only way to get it.
Being at home with Derek was something we were anticipating. But what was more important? His wife, children, dog, or Lonsdale belt?
Well, what we've got together. We've built everything that we've got together as a family. We've both worked hard at what we've got. Everybody has their ups and downs, but you get through it. Everybody has tough times, but you get through it.
He does mean a lot to me. I mean, he's my dad and he's family. He's a really good role model. And he's a great person to look up to. Because he has achieved a lot in his life.
Been inducted into the British Ex-Boxers Hall of Fame last year, which is nice. Obviously you got the Lonsdale belt there. A lot of people say to me, best belt in the world, which it is. It's a beautiful belt, don't get me wrong. It needs a bit of a shine and a polish, but people say to me, you'd never sell that, you'd never get rid of that, would you? And I always say, I'd get rid of it in a flash. Take me 2 seconds. if my daughter or my son needed it for a deposit on the house, further education, I'd be gone in a second. They go, what? You selling it? So what? I'm in the history books, it's there, nobody can ever deny it. So it's just a token, that's all it is. Nice to win, I've won it, I own it, I can do what I like with it, you know what I mean? So it's a possession, and at the end of the day, it's lovely to have it, it doesn't mean a great deal. It doesn't mean as much as my kids having a bit of a deposit on the house. So my dad says to me every time I go home to Ireland, gives me a hug, because he might have seen it for 6 or 12 months, and he says, son, ni lein tinton or the hinton fain, which means there's no fireplace like the home fireplace, which is my favourite saying.
Yeah, so just at the end of our 45-minute sort of documentary, and what a wonderful weekend I've had with Derek, his friends, his family. And I only knew Derek Roche, the boxer, but getting to know the true Derek Roche, I couldn't believe how down to earth he is, how humorous he is. What a great guy. What a wonderful family. I'm inspired by them. Wonderful friends. It's been an experience for me to be in Leeds, to meet people, and I've really enjoyed putting this together. Thank you everyone that's helped, and especially thank you to Derek Roche and his family. Thank you to the people of Leeds. What an inspiring story, to come to Ireland with nothing, to have your bag stolen, to have your hands on your head crying, to go down the gym. The fighting spirit that's inside Derek, which every human being has it, got triggered, turned his life around to become a British champion, and now look what he's got. Derek, I honour you, mate.
As you can clearly see, Derek the Rebel Roche is a true inspiration to anyone. This man overcame all the odds and became a champion. But still, he calls himself an average man.
Oh, that's a good left hand. Body shot from Derek Roche. Fleet, but floored the Clyde Bank southpaw and does dig. Astonishing. Right to the body from Derek Roche and Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon catches Roche with the left hand, and now Roche.
Thanks for watching Against All Odds. If you have enjoyed watching our documentary, please click like and subscribe to our channel. And if you know anybody with a unique story, then tell them to get in touch, either by email or commenting below. Again, thank you for watching Against All Odds. Please stay tuned for the next one. Updates will be available shortly. Thanks guys.